Alright, during our last stream, we got to this point where we can spawn a window, but we actually didn't do anything with our window, and as you might see, it kind of deadlocks. And that should be because we're currently not doing anything in terms of processing the actual messages of the window. The Win32 API creates a window, and the operating system sends different messages to the window, and different events also makes the operating system pass along messages. So yeah, right now we have a running method that just returns true, which means that we run our application forever. We would like, though, a specific run function that handles some of our window um, um, methods, or yeah, uh, handles something about the window. So in our application loop, if we are running our application, we will keep on running the run function, which is basically a sort of update function. Oh, I forgot to look up these methods in our documentation because, yeah, I just knew them from before. So, as you can see, it's a function, show window is a function that sets the specified window state. Um, yeah, yeah, so this basically shows the window if it's not already shown, and update window, I don't know what it does. Updates the client area of the specified window by sending a WM paint message to the window. So that message gets sent into our window procedure. So that basically draws the window. All right. So the run function has to process the messages of the window. That's just how the API works. Eventually, it has to also call the update function of our application. But for now, we start out by running the I got distracted. By running the message loop. So we're gonna have a message, and the way this is sometimes done is by using the peak message macro, where you pass in a struct for the actual message, which we already defined, It's not for a specific handle. It doesn't have a minimum. It doesn't have a maximum. And we remove the message, if I recall correctly. And we keep on doing this as long as it's returns more than 0. But we can look up the macro first. So peak message function dispatches incoming non-queued messages, checks the thread message queue for a posted message and retrieves it if it exists. So first we pass in a message structure that we receive the message to, and we don't specify a handle. So if it's null, peak message retrieves messages for any window that belongs to the current thread. And as you can see, this is ranges. So, and lastly, we have the remove method. So we remove the message after they get processed. Inside that function, we call something called translate. Inside that while loop, we call something called translate function, translate message. So it translates them into character messages. So we translate it to be passed along. And we dispatch it to our Windows procedure. All right. Now that makes every message get passed along into our Windows procedure, and now the message queue doesn't get stuck, which means that the window can now take commands from the operating system and the thread. I think at least that's how it functions. Maybe it's not. But yeah, that makes us able to move the actual window around. We could, for example, try disabling the actual dispatcher and nothing gets passed along to the Windows procedure. All right. As you can see, actually clicking the close button of the window makes it close when we dispatch the message. So this whole while loop defines a message structure for holding messages. It peeks all of the messages and remove them by putting them into the message struct. Then we iterate over all of the messages, we translate it, and we dispatch it. So the dispatch was for our Windows procedure. The translate is from virtual key messages into character messages. Yeah. All right. So now we have a message loop. Our application just runs and runs and runs, and handles our messages. Our next step is to start looking into how to use the window for something. I know this is a somewhat short video, but I'm gonna break it into smaller parts, which easier translates into separate videos, since, yeah, that is easier for now. So I'll be seeing you in the next one.